Walk through a medieval church roof, run your hands along the beams of a centuries-old bridge, or study the timbers pulled from a Viking ship burial, and one question immediately presents itself. Why is this wood still structurally sound after hundreds of years, when modern timber often fails in just a few decades? The answer is not luck. It's not forgotten magic. And it's certainly not some mythical craftsmanship we could never hope to replicate. The truth is far more fascinating. Medieval builders understood wood in ways that modern construction has largely abandoned. They didn't rely on products to protect timber, they relied on systems. Understanding these systems doesn't just explain history, it highlights why modern wood fails in ways that are often avoidable. Before we dive deeper, if you enjoy uncovering the hidden knowledge of the past, make sure to like this video, comment with your thoughts or questions, share it with friends who love history, and subscribe to The Hard Past for more deep, evidence-based explorations of forgotten engineering secrets. Now, let's get into why medieval timber endures while ours struggles. Modern builders are taught to fear water above all else. If wood gets wet, it will rot. Medieval engineers knew something far more subtle. Wood only decays when three elements come together: long-term moisture, oxygen, and biological access for fungi. Remove any one of these, and decay slows dramatically or stops entirely. Where modern construction tries to seal wood from water at the surface, medieval builders focused on preventing moisture from lingering within the fibres. That shift in philosophy explains almost everything about why their structures survive. Medieval wood began life with inherent advantages that, honestly, modern lumber rarely has. Builders back then selected trees themselves, not pre-cut boards, and they favoured slow-grown oak, pine, larch and chestnut from those harsh northern climates. These trees, with their tight growth rings and dense fibres, naturally resisted water penetration and fungal attack. Sapwood, which is rich in sugars that fungi absolutely love, was often removed. Felling trees in winter reduced internal nutrients and sap, making the timber even less hospitable to decay. After that, logs were seasoned slowly, often for years, under shelter with good airflow. By the time they were installed, the wood was already hostile to rot. Even today, small sheds or outdoor furniture can really benefit by prioritizing slow-grown hardwoods and proper seasoning before construction. Medieval builders frequently used heat in ways that modern construction, largely ignores. Beams were dried near hearths, planks were warmed before shaping, and sometimes posts were lightly charred before installation. This process drove off residual moisture, reduced sugars, and moved resins within the wood. When the timber cooled, those resins hardened inside the tiny capillaries that carry water, reducing future moisture absorption without actually sealing the surface. Modern kiln drying only replicates part of this process, honestly missing the resin mobilization that gave medieval wood its durability. Today, controlled radiant heat or a light flame treatment, followed by slow cooling, can mimic this principle for exterior wood. Instead of surface coatings that trap moisture when they crack, medieval builders often saturated wood with natural oils, animal fats, fish oils, or plant oils. Heated before application, these oils penetrated deeply into the fibres, oxidizing slowly and creating internal water resistance while keeping the wood flexible. Unlike modern paints or synthetic sealants, This method allowed timber to breathe and resist decay. A modern adaptation involves multiple applications of heated linseed or fish oil, allowing each layer to absorb fully before the next. The result is internal protection that doesn't fail silently. Minimally, medieval builders altered the chemistry of timber to make it inhospitable to decay organisms. Ash, lime and salt were used to wash wood, raise alkalinity and discourage fungi. Ship timbers soaked in seawater absorbed salt that remained after drying. These treatments worked in combination with drying, heating and oiling. They weren't sufficient on their own, but together they made timber far more resilient. Modern builders can replicate this by experimenting with mild alkaline washes or controlled saltwater treatments before oiling. Perhaps most overlooked is how medieval structures were designed to manage water long after construction. Roofs were steep, overhangs generous, and joints crafted to shed water rather than trap it. Structural wood rarely touched soil directly, resting on stone plinths or elevated supports. Floors and walls were ventilated to allow air circulation, ensuring timber dried quickly after rain. Modern construction often does the opposite, sealing buildings tightly and unintentionally trapping moisture where it causes the most damage. Longevity in the medieval world was engineered, not assumed. Fast-grown lumber, installed wet, coated with impermeable finishes and trapped in designs that hold moisture. It's really no wonder modern wood rots. When coatings fail, decay spreads invisibly and, honestly, rather rapidly. Maintenance becomes reactive instead of preventative. Medieval systems, on the other hand, failed slowly, visibly and repairably, allowing for centuries-long survival. Anyone building sheds, cabins, fences or restoring historic structures can, really take inspiration from the past. Start with dense, slow-grown wood. Season it properly. Use heat to mobilize resins. Saturate the fibers with natural oils rather than relying on those brittle surface coatings. Alter timber chemistry where it makes sense and always design structures to shed water and encourage airflow. None of this requires abandoning modern tools. It just requires respecting wood as a dynamic material that interacts with its environment. Medieval builders succeeded because they understood wood as a living system, not simply as a disposable material. Modern failures quite often stem from ignoring that system. When we apply these lessons today, our structures can actually endure far longer than most people expect. If this guide gave you even a fraction of insight into why historical construction outperforms much of what we build today, do subscribe to The Hard Past. Share this video with fellow history enthusiasts, builders and survivalists, and, comment below with your experiences or questions. Understanding these systems isn't just fascinating, it's practical, timeless knowledge that anyone can put to use.